Mike Evans isn't done. And for the first time in his career, he might not be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. That's just not a free agency rumor. That's a franchise shifting possibility. Let's talk about it. So, according to ESPN's Kimberly Martin, Mike Evans' agent confirmed he intends to play a 13th season. Now, this isn't a retirement tour for him. It's kind of legacy defining. He's showing that he still got something in the gas tank. So, Evans has been the face of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as we know, for it seemed like about 10 years now. And he's ready to do something different. He had a great career in Tampa Bay, but he's trying to win an extra ring here. So, what we're going to talk about with Mike Evans, the potential Hall of Famer, uh, 10,000-yard seasons, Super Bowl ring. He has just been a model of consistency, a great guy on and off the field from what we know. But we got to talk about the landing spots. Said his career ain't over. And Tampa Bay is not out of the question for him to return there. But if he doesn't, we got to talk about where he's going to land at. So, what we do know is Mike is not a volume catcher no more. He's not going to get 100 catches anymore. He's going to hit a lot of the jump balls. He's a physical presence. He almost is like a hybrid tight end at this point in his career, but he's still super effective. He's a mismatch for anybody. He's a bulldozer. He's just a big physical receiver. Ask Marshawn Lattimore about that. But I came up with 5 teams that I felt like would be a good spot for him. And of course, it's contenders. And we got to talk about the Baltimore Ravens being one of the contenders. Now, we saw Baltimore try with DeAndre Ayton. They try with Odell Beckham. They get veteran receivers that's kind of on the back nine, but they feel like they got something left in the tank. And it hasn't worked. Uh, DeAndre Hopkins didn't really move the needle last year. Rashad Bateman kind of coming off of a down year. Zay Flowers is electric, but he's still undersized. He still got some growing to do in his game. This would be a perfect match for Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has never really had a number one receiver. So this would be a perfect fit. You know, he's not going to be a diva. He's just going to do his job. He's going to be physical, and he fits the identity of the Baltimore Ravens. So that would be a great fit for him. But the Ravens have, I think, about $22 million in cap space. So they'll probably move some things around, but I can definitely see that being one of the landing spots for him. That'll give Lamar Jackson something that he's never had, a 6'5" target that can still move. Like I said, he's a red zone mismatch, and he's a reliable third down guy. You know he is going to be Mr. Dependable. So could we see Lamar Jackson with Mike Evans? Possibility. The second landing spot, as you guys know, if you watch my channel, I did a series called Windows and Wait with Josh Allen. So, of course, the Buffalo Bills is another contending team that would be a great fit for Mike Evans. Now, after Josh Allen's playoff loss to Denver, one thing was clear. He don't have a number one receiver. And I like Shakir a lot. I even like Kenyon Coleman, but they're not number one guys right now. And he needs that bailout guy. He needs a guy where he's not perfect. He throws one of those Josh Allen type of balls where it's, off script. He needs a guy that'll be able to come down with it. We know Mike Evans is that guy. Um, Josh had Brandon Cooks. He had McCole Hardman. No offense to those guys, but Hartman he's become a journeyman after leaving the Kansas City Chiefs. Brandon Cook he's past his prime at this point. And when you have somebody like a Mike Evans, he converted 23 of his 30 first downs last year, and he wasn't even really healthy. So he had big conversions for first downs. That's what happens when you that dude. Uh, like I say, 6'5", 231, he becomes an instant security blanket for Josh Allen. And wouldn't Josh Allen love it to have a guy that can do all of those things, or be a professional about his job, and probably move his franchise forward. So um, it would be a good fit, and he could actually probably help Keon Coleman. Now, Keon Coleman does not have the speed of Mike Evans, but they are big body guys, so he can help him learn to develop his game, high point balls, at the point of attack, become a professional, those type of things that matter. So I think that would be a good fit. Now, here's the problem with Buffalo. Buffalo is 12.5 million over the cap. So they will have to do a lot of restructuring, a lot of magic tricks to get under, and to see what Mike Evans would take to join a potential contender. Also, he'll be going into the cold. This is something that he's never done before, but I think he would be a good fit. Uh, Landed spot number 3, the Houston Texans. I know you guys are looking at me like the Houston Texans. Well, they got Nico Collins, and why would he want to play with maybe C.J. Stroud if he's there? That may be another video we have to talk about. Uh, but as good as Nico Collins is, health has been an issue because he's a definite number one. Tank Dell is coming off a horrific surgery, so we'll see what he looks like. And the receiving game has been hit with injuries. So you couple that with the way CJ Stroud has played, they probably could use a veteran in the building that helps them grow that team, take that next jump. And of course, you get that safety blanket. CJ Stroud has not had that. So I think that would also be a good fit. You get that red zone guy, and if you can get a Nico Collins healthy, and you can get a Mike Evans together, and then you can get Tank Dell to roam around at that slot receiver, they become dangerous again as long as C.J. Stroud got his head on straight. So that's definitely a good situation that I could see helping. That'll help with the developmental situation on the offensive side of the ball. Like I said, Mike Evans is a good guy, so I think it would help those guys grow and take that next step. The number 4 landing spot, of course, is those Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, they are $55 million over the cap. Well, I know you asking D, how are they going to give Mike Evans his just due if the cap looks that way? Well, they got Brett Beach over there. Brett Beach is a pretty good GM, and I'm pretty sure they're going to restructure Patrick Mahomes. They're going to restructure Chris Jones, and any of those guys over there making a couple dollars if they can land Mike Evans. Now they do have holes on that offense, and it's things that they need to add. But you're telling me right now they can add a Mike Evans, a perennial Pro Bowler who's going to be steady Eddie, can get the ball at the point of attack, that the Chiefs went work through hell or high water to get him, they would do it. Now, Mike Evans has never played with a Patrick Mahomes. Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be interesting? So we'll see how that goes. That situation right there, we'll see how it is when Patrick Mahomes comes back. He is coming off an ACL injury, so they will have to steady the ship till he came back. Would he be comfortable going into a situation where you may not be certain at the quarterback position for maybe the first half of the season, but if they're in the mix and the Patrick Mahomes come back, wouldn't that be a dynamic duo? So um, that would be a it'd be a pretty good move if it all worked out in that situation. Now, my 5th landing spot is the San Francisco 49ers. No Brandon Ayuk. That situation's done. Uh, George Kittle will be coming off an Achilles tear, unfortunately. George hasn't been able to stay healthy. Ricky Pearsall is trying to still find his way after everything that's going on in his career. So, what does Brock Purdy have outside of Christian McCaffrey, who found the fountain of youth last year and went crazy? There's not much on the offensive side of the ball. You know you're gonna be in a stable situation with Kyle Shanahan. Brock Purdy is a pretty good quarterback. Mike Evans would be a great fit over there. Of course, you know what he brings to the table, and he would end up actually becoming the number one option over there. So he would get a lot of balls thrown his way. So I think that would be the interesting situation over there in San Francisco because they're definitely going to need the help. Now, I don't know if they feel like they need to go into a rebuild or they're still ring chasing. So we'll see. But if they're still ring chasing, that makes sense for Mike Evans to go over there. Now, the line you can't cross, and here's the line, in my opinion. Mike Evans signs with a rebuilding team just for money, then he's wasting his time. You might as well go back to Tampa Bay. That changes the whole offseason outlook. It makes me look at him and say, hey, he's just trying to get his last paycheck, which, if that's what he wants to do, that will be all well and good. But in my opinion, I don't think he's doing that. I think he wants to win, and he's finding his way to try something different. Like I said, he gave Tampa Bay. He was part of a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. Maybe just want to try something different, and that's okay. And that's okay. But it definitely would be for him to go compete, not to go into any type of rebuild situation. That's not what he's looking for. So, in my opinion, I think he's looking to compete. So, if I had to call it right now, I would say Buffalo makes the most sense in my heart of hearts. It makes the most sense. You guys know I'm a Josh Allen fan. I think he can use all the help he can get. But if I had to go somewhere where they're structurally sound, they have a big time QB. Gotta look at Baltimore. Lamar Jackson over there. You got Zay Flowers on the other side. You got Mark Andrews. You got Likely. I'm sorry. You got all the weapons over there. You got Derrick Henry. You would just add to that piece of the puzzle, and they may be able to get over the hump. If you go to Kansas City, it's like joining the '97 Bulls with Jordan and those guys with Patrick Mahomes. You just add on to that piece, and you go for that next ring. So uh, that's what I got on the situation. Mike Evans is definitely not a player that's just hanging on, just trying to get a ride to get to a championship. He is still a really, really, really good player. Um, is he elite anymore? He can have spurts to be an elite, and I think that's all he needs to be at this point. And with the teams that I named, I think he will be pretty good fits there. What do you guys think? Mike Evans may not be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer no longer. Where do you guys think that he would land? What'll be a good fit? What is a surprise team that you guys think that he would fit with? Leave all of that in the comments below. Until the next video. Peace.